Hello, I am Centimus Prime, and here I will be reviewing the Transformers Studio Series 86 Deluxe Class Jazz. Now, starting this off, we will be taking a look at the figure himself and getting a close getting a close look at his head to start things off. Starting things off, he does have a pretty nice head sculpt. That's to be expected. Very nice. The visor's done really nicely. You do like that? Of course he has the nice shiny silver paint for his face. And that's a-okay. Would like honestly would like him to have like a more like excited like expression on his face, like something like a little more expression in his face would have been preferred, but as it is right now, it doesn't look too bad. The rest of his head is looking pretty nice. That's how the back of his head looks. Nice details all around. It's a nice head sculpt. And like taking a whole look at the thing, not looking too bad, looking pretty good. Am liking the roundness of the chest. That looks pretty good. Am liking how that looks. And we also have like some nice details on his chest being picked out with a reasonable amount of paint. We got the slight bumper section here picked out in red. You also got like headlight like details picked out in the nice blue. The Autobot logo and like the blue square thing painted up. That's looking really nice. The grill thing. It's like a nice rounded chest. Very very good. Arms they're pretty basic, but they do get the job done. They're even like not. They don't even have the. They don't have the like 5 millimeter ports on like the forearms or shoulders, which which if you want to like add like as much weapons to your transform figures as possible, that might not be a great thing. But like it does allow for like a nice like filled in like arm, so I'm not too mad by it. It does provide some nice details, though. Very nice. Moving on, we do have this nice shiny abdomen section picked out in silver. That's cool. We do have like the waist section picked out in black, and I do like the extra pops of this slightly darker blue than the headlights. Like that I feel uh, like pops out really nicely. The white thighs are really nice. They do have a good amount of detail, and even the insides have like a little bit of like greebliness to it. That's not looking too bad, and the lower legs are looking pretty solid. Very nice. Do get a nice amount of silver paint here, like making those details pop on the shins and on the toes. Very nice. The like do get a little bit of like car car mode kibble here. Looking very nice, very sleek, very cool. And like turning him around, I do like the way that this is depicted here. Like yeah, like it actually yeah like the robot mode makes like great use of the like spoiler piece from the vehicle mode as like these nice solid like heel spurs. That's nice. Back of the legs are hollow, but that's mandatory for transformation, so I'll let that slide. But the rest of the back of the figure is looking pretty solid. Not looking too bad. Like the backs of the legs are nice. The arms are overall very solid. And the back of the head, like I said before, is nice. And even the backpack thing, which is made up of like the cab section of the car, yeah, it's not sticking out too far. It's not sticking out all that much. However, I would prefer it to like tab in some way, but like with the with the okay friction of the hinge and the fact that this kibble this kibble is like working with gravity to keep it is mainly reliant on is mainly relying on gravity to hold it in place. So overall, as long as you have it in like an upright sort of pose, like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But even then, if you have it like upside down, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal either, unless you like really start shaking them around. Should be able to hold poses if of like crazy like Power Ranger level kind of poses, like back flips and stuff. Yeah, pretty cool. Does have a nice, solid appearance. Very cool. Very nice. You know, it, you know, like it, it just looks a okay. Very nice. Maybe we can go ahead and move on to articulation. Why don't we? So the head is of course on the ball joint. Can look up okay and down barely, and of course can rotate and tilt a little bit. Very nice. The shoulders, because of how the transformation hinges are, you do have these sort of shifting elbow kind of action here going on. So you have like a little bit of that going on, like you can like utilize that transformation hinge, which is nice. But on top of that, you have your swivel here and rotation here, so your arms can move all the way around this way. There's a hinge here, so it can move out, and you can even move the arm further out utilizing that previously mentioned transformation hinge to get more outward movements. Very nice. Do get a bicep rotation, though like utilizing it in like this sort of degree will make it look kinda awkward, but there's a reason of why it's designed like that, and I'll bring that up later. Elbows can bend up to 90. That's very nice. And due to transformation, the fists don't rotate, but they can fold in. So there's that. I've already talked about the kibble. It does have a nice solid waist rotation that it can go 360 as mostly unhindered. The only thing that really gets in its way is the back kibble, and that can easily get out of the way because it's not really tapped in. So there is that. The legs, the legs can kick up to ever so slightly under 90 degrees. They can kick back a good ways, like especially when you move the kibble out of the way. They can move back a good bit. They can move out about that far, not quite to 90, but still pretty good. Got a nice solid thigh rotation. Like it is limited. Like it is limited if you have it like straight down, but when you utilize the outward movement, you can get more out of that range of you can utilize that swivel in a wider range. Very nice. Moving the leg up a little bit, the knees can bend up to 90, but you can use the transformation hinge to make it bend, to make his leg bend even further. And while we're down here, I would like to mention that now, like, this mold, like, because of how this mold is engineered, it is a little bit tricky trying to keep the knee tapped into the shin with like how mainly due to like how thin the like peg is and like how much weight it has to be holding down, stuff like that. Like some cases it's better than others. uh my copy, i'm I'm personally fortunate enough to have a copy with relatively solid knees. Very very nice. And to finish off on articulation, does have a 90 degrees on ankle tilt, and he also does have toe movement, so you can move his toes down if you want to use that for articulation. So overall, articulation is pretty good. It is some nice art. It is. It's a nice. It's a nice all round range of articulation that you can like utilize to put him in a large variety of poses. So that's pretty cool. And now moving on to accessories and gimmicks and stuff, he really only has one accessory, and that is his gun, his like blaster gun, molded in white plastic but mostly painted in silver. You can of course just plug his gun into his hand, and he can just wield that, and he can just wield, that. You can just wield, that gun, and you can look cool while doing it. Look at that. That looks nice. And while yes, this is the only thing he comes with, it's overall like not. It's overall like a pretty good uh accessory for Jazz to come with. It's like yeah, it's a really cool. It's a really cool, like nice little like basic like gun like weapon. It's a nice. Yeah, it works just fine with Jazz. I feel very very nice. Moving on to not articulation. We already did articulation. Moving on to size comparison. That's it. Let's bring it back. Here he is, next to my uh, custom painted Centimus Prime. Moving him down. Here he is next to, and yeah, here he is next to Crosscut. So here is how he scales with your standard deluxe, and he is about the size of a standard deluxe. Uh, Comparing him to like he's pretty much the same. Uh, I think Jazz. I think Jazz is just ever so slightly taller, mainly due to his like ears. But like overall, they're well, like overall he is like a very averagely sized like modern deluxe. So there is of course that. Now moving on to transformation, let's go ahead and remove his gun. Now let's start the transformation. So of course we're going to fold in the fists, straighten out his elbows, and rotate, then rotate these 180. That's going to be important later. But for now, let's go ahead and start untabbing stuff. So let's flip that up for now. Let's untab this. Okay, so we untab that like this. Okay, yeah, so we untab this piece from the silver part, and we can, of course, rotate that silver bit around. Then we can, of course, push the head. Yeah, we can flip the head in. Now you flip the head in, then you can raise this front section up, flip that up, so it's like that. So you flip that in, you flip this panel up so that this panel lines up with this part of the head panel to like flatten that out and make it so that it's nice, and so that gap is from the head is now nice and filled in. Very nice. Yeah, we're doing a-okay so far. So next we're going to just flip out the doors for now, and we're also going to flip out this clear piece and line it up with the other clear piece. And I am going to say this now. I have heard horror stories on a lot of copies of this figure with where people have ended up accidentally breaking like the clear pieces on this figure because they are, well, to be honest, because they're not that durable. It's like clear plastic being used for like stress bearing ways, like, which is not ideal, to be honest. But we can touch more on that in like at some point in the video. But for now, here we have this like cab section done up for now. So next we can flip up the toes. Then we can untab the knees and accordion the legs in. Like accordion those in, tab them in, tab the tab the legs together, flip, untap these, flip these. Yeah, we can then of course flip these car like fender pieces up so that they line up with these painted stripes to look like that. And then after that, we can take this section. We can try to accordion it into here, having this edge tab in and line up with the front, which can be slightly difficult. Without accidentally like cracking something. Hopefully, for me, I'm able to manage, but mileage may vary. Then we can, of course, tab these black tabs into the clear piece. Like you can see the ports right there on the clear piece, so you can just go ahead and tap those into the legs. Then after that, we can leave those doors open for now. Okay, so yeah, we can leave the doors open for now, so then we can bend the arms this way and then turn like this assembly around, and basically, yeah, you flip that around, line it up inside the inside of the car, Yeah, you turn it that way so that these tabs are facing out the sides. And then after that, we can then close the door panel so that these slots tap into these tabs on the arms. And so that everything lines up. So we can just tap that up and we can make sure that this lines up like so. And then after that, here we have Jazz uh, fully transformed into his sports car mode. Yeah, like it's a nice like decent transformation. It's not too complex though. I would prefer to not have to worry about like clear plastic breaking. But like but as of right now, like it's a fun transformation to do, and it's a okay. It's for me, it's a okay for now. But yeah, like taking a look at the alt mode, the alt mode looks really nice. Yeah, like all gripes aside, this looks really cool. I do like the way that the stripes are painted. Like the paint has been done really well, been done really nicely. Even the white, I feel like the white paint here is has like lined up like very nicely with the reasonably nicely with the white plastic. Like obviously, like if you look close enough, you can tell the difference. But like yeah, I think aside from this little stripe here, it's not even the same with the other side. I think aside from like this one stripe of white paint here, everything else paint wise looks very nice and crisp. Like that looks pretty good. Yeah, very nice. The number 14s on either side are pretty cool. And on the back, yeah, like taking a look at the back here, while you can obviously see that this is quite obviously his toes sticking out, like you can clearly see the yeah, you can clearly see the Porsche like the rear of the Porsche vehicle mode. Like that is some like nice attention to detail. And like even with the like silver like toes like sticking out, like it doesn't look too bad. I I think it does. I don't think it looks too bad. I feel like it works well enough. I feel like it doesn't like it works well enough. It's like not the greatest thing in the world, but it's 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 not like a deal breaker or anything. Like the spoilers are really cool. Those are really nice. Like I said, the paint's nice. The fenders are nice and smooth. The alt mode's like nice and smooth and really nice. Got like nice little greeblings and stuff. We can turn it around, and here is a good look at what the car mode looks like from underneath. It does fit together rather nicely. Like it does do with okay, does seem to have okay clearance. Like I think when it comes to clearance, the thing you're probably gonna need to worry about the most is probably like just the arm pieces because those hang down the lowest. But they shouldn't be on like a flatter surface like this. It shouldn't be no big deal at all. And the wheels, yeah, like they're all on these mushroom pegs, but they all roll really nicely. Re- they all roll really nicely. The wheels, they function as wheels. That's nice to see. And then we can, of course, take a look at the windshields. Well, well, yeah, like start, yeah, like looking at the at like the front windscreen. I absolutely like and adore what they did with this black striping here on the top of the windscreen. That's a really nice touch. But yeah, like looking at the rest of the windscreen, it's in my opinion it doesn't look all that great because like looking in there you're not really seeing any interior and stuff like if you look in there you just see like random like robot kibble and stuff like you have like this giant silver piece in there that's that's just like taking up the entire space of the like front seat section. So that's like unfortunate to like see like even like that's that's slightly unfortunate. Like like you don't like you have like these clear windshields, and even that you have like some weird panel line things going on with and like linings going on with the windscreens that doesn't it looks kind of awkward is what I'm saying. Though I will give it to them that like little bit of detailing up there that looks like the mirror. That looks like the mirror that they would attach on the inside of the front windscreen. That is a really nice detail. Like the especially like the stuff up here. Like there's some nice attention to detail on the windshields. But yeah, like aside from that, like it's not all that pleasing to look on the inside of this. It honestly would be nice to have like this like cab section pieces done up in solid white plastic with the windshield with the windows just painted in a nice like blue shade of blue or black or whatever. Because like looking at it, while it does look cool from while all like the idea of it is really cool, like looking at the inside of the vehicle just to see like random robot kibble it can look a bit awkward. Like no matter how cool the windshield like clear windows are. But that's really just my opinion. Like and even then the windows still look pretty cool. I honestly just hope that these will hold up over time. No, that looks pretty cool. And bringing back the gun piece, we can like try to use this for the alt mode. Like for a lot of these, you can just plug the handle into the top of the roof to have like that sort of turn gun thing going on. Though I don't recommend to do this because you are plugging a gun directly onto the clear plastic. So I might not recommend doing that. And if you try turning it around while the gun is in the peg, you might risk scratching the paint on the parts. So I personally don't recommend like placing it there, but it is an option that you do with it. So there is that at least. That's only really nice details and stuff. And that I think that is like, and with that I think that is like just about it with this figure. Like overall I do think it is a really nice deluxe. It is a really nice like car deluxe. It doesn't do anything too particularly. It doesn't like horribly excel at anything, but it does make for a nice, fun, just like standard like car deluxe transformer figure. Like it's just a nice like car transformer to play with. Like that's not a whole lot to talk about. Like in terms of would I recommend this figure? Um, Now keep in mind this is the one I'm looking at is a package refresh essentially of the updated Studio Series one with the updated packaging. And there is like the old, which is identical from the older, from the Jazz from the first wave of Studio Series 86. But if you ask me, if you had a choice with any of the like modern Jazz like figures, if you had a choice with which one you would, if you wanted my opinion on which one you would be best to get, I'd say get the Jazz from that like Generation Selects like 5 pack that they've done for the online exclusive thing. Like not only because you're getting 4 other figures that are really nice, but also you're getting essentially the exact same figure, but with the cab section pieces done up in solid plastic and with just a little bit of paint uh, to like pick pick out the windows. I personally go with that one, but like yeah, like if you but yeah, like if you somehow like have like all those other characters and are looking for just Jazz, I say this isn't a bad option to be honest. You're just gonna have to be careful